Hello and welcome to What's New in Projects and Service Management. We continue our investment into the industry-specific areas of Business Central. You already know that we are adding integration to Dynamics 365 Field Service and Business Central and the Service Management model. People, usually developers, who are using Insider builds will already noticed some re-architecture happening in the internals of Service Management, where we are transforming it to behave like ISV solution and use the same patterns and dependencies. But we also continue to polish project and service management functionality to align it with other parts of application. And in this video, I would like to focus on exactly this part. Let's start with project management area. We continue our journey related to uptaking of rich warehouse and inventory capabilities, and now we are also supporting locations where directed put away and pick is enabled. We also added extra capability to do replenishment for projects, in addition to planning worksheet or order planning capabilities. We also getting some features developed by community via co-development contribution, and this one of the example, extended text. We also did number of UI alignments all the way. Let's start with the demo. Let's navigate to the project list. I'm now in the project manager Role Center, and when I mention UX improvements, you probably expect me to mention that we are adding more columns here. Not this time. This time we are adding more actions. And for example, we are adding project VIP cockpit action right to the project list. This functionality is quite powerful and useful if you're dealing with work in progress for projects. And because it's a little bit hidden, not everybody knows about its existence. For example, it allows you to delete work in progress entries, which allows you to change the VIP method in the project and try a different one, right? But this is existing functionality, getting closer. What else available here? Not on the main menu, because usually we're trying to add actions but do not promote them unless it's necessary. It will give you choice to actually use personalization capabilities to pin what is needed. Let's, for example, go to the project assembly orders. You remember that in previous release we added assembly to order capability, and you can navigate to assembly from cart, now from the list as well. But what else we can see here? We can also see warehouse capabilities, and let's take a look at the pick lines. Yeah, what do we see here? Warehouse pick lines, because somebody, probably me, already created warehouse pick for this project. And what do we see here? We see here a white location. And for people who are working with Business Central for a long time already know the synonym of white location as location where the most comprehensive or advanced warehouse capabilities are enabled. It's directed put away and pick. So it's enabled for this location, and now you can use it for project as well. You can see that project consumption will work as warehouse pick mandatory. All right, let's navigate to the warehouse pick document and register it to make sure that it actually works as expected. All right, so we completed the pick. Let's open the document and explore internally what's happening with this project. All right, the first project task, where you can see the location and bin selected right there, or which can be defaulted to different values. That's something we added earlier. Now let's navigate to the project planning lines, and we can see here project planning line, yeah, with the element, which we can transfer to the project journal, because now we want to perform consumption of it, or actually register usage. Okay, it is transferred. Now let's open it. And it is here, we can post it. We will not post it, we will do posting preview feature, my favorite ones, because we can see the results without actual changing data in the database. All right, project ledger entry is here, value entry is here, warehouse entry is also here for white location, where we consuming picked items. What if I will go and change quantity from 2, which was originally picked, to, let's say, 5? Expected, yeah, because we didn't pick 5. We picked only 2, and this is exactly what Business Central tells us about. All right, so that was about directed pick and put away support. We have one limitation still pending. We will talk about it in a later stage today. The next one is extended text. You can see how I call it. Let's open it in the different mode introduced in the previous release, but you know, we do multi-release enhancements. Now we have project task, and we can see the item here. Let's scroll to the right a little bit. Item, semi-automatic, 2 pieces, and we can see new function, insert extended text, added by via co-development project. All right, I will press the button, and what we can see, extended text was added. We can, of course, configure it to be automatically inserted for projects or for invoices or whatever document you like. So you can configure different ones for different purposes. Why do we need those? To be able to print. Let's navigate to print send and choose preview project quote. Let's use preview and zoom a little bit. Now you can see the text is also printed on the quote. Thank you for contributing. Next element will be about replenishment. You know that we already have assembly to order to build right for the project. You can also use planning worksheet with most advanced planning capabilities or order planning for order per order execution. But sometimes people would like to do planning from the project right away. That's why we will go to the project planning lines, see what we have here, and I have here remote pump and power cord, which are needed both in quantity 10, and then I have new action hiding very well under the actions, functions, and very bottom. It actually behaves very similar to what we already know in the sales order document. It goes through the content and it analyzes availability, what can be used, and suggests to buy what is missing. And you can see that it suggests to buy 10 and 8. Why 8? Because, guess, we already have something available, or on its way, actually. And then we have 2 extra ways how to create purchase documents. This is a big difference comparing to sales area, where it actually doesn't matter if you reserve or not. It just adds reservation. But here, the change will be noticeable. I will activate reserve in one line, but keep it blank for another one, and press OK. Because both are purchased from the same vendor, we will get the same purchase order on the screen. And we can scroll a little bit further down to see what is actually will be purchased. Yeah, both components will be here, quantity 10 and 8 as expected, but quantity reserved only for one line, which is fair, because this is exactly what we wanted to see. But there is one more difference, and if I will scroll to the right, to the project number and project task number, which I made added via personalization, you can see that it is populated only for the first line, and the second line doesn't have those, which is not a problem. It's still reserved for exactly that project. So once I will register purchase, which I will do right now, you can see there are 3 item ledger entries. First item, F100, is purchased and used for the project immediately, so it immediately gets consumed. The second item is only purchased, and now it is in inventory, but it is reserved for specific project. So now you decide actually how you want to process the purchase document linked to the project. Immediately register usage or do it later. The second mode is actually very useful for warehouse integration, because we do not support warehouse receipt scenarios for projects. It means if you are using white location with directed pick and put away, you cannot post purchase via warehouse receipt and expect it to be immediately consumed. Not yet, at least. All right, so that's what I wanted to tell you, except one extra thing. Alright, I mentioned that we have something available. How do I know that? We also added item availabilities in different places. For example, in project planning lines and project journals. Let's look at the availability by event and expand it. And you can see that we have project and 2 purchases with quantity 2 and 8. The 8 is the one which we created just a few minutes ago. Okay, we can also navigate to the created purchase documents if we can use related, project planning lines and purchase lines. Okay, this is in case if it's not reserved, you can navigate to the purchase lines this way. To summarize, what has changed for projects? Ignoring the old journey by now, because it was multiple releases when we did multiple improvements, finally we get directed put away locations supported. We have a more convenient way to do replenishment for projects, and user experience is very much aligned with what we saw in other areas. And now let's talk about service management. It also gets UX improvements, obviously, but we're also getting archiving capabilities which we are missing in service area for service quotes and orders. We also added support for report selection in one extra report, and we will talk about filing of service contracts and quote contracts which were available before, but now gets improved. All right. Now I'm in the Service Manager Role Center, and here we will start with the service quote. I will open my list of service quotes. Here what we see, we can see the document attachments actually looking very good. You can upload it right here, so you don't need to click this number anymore. But this is a generic improvement. You already saw it in different places, not service specific. Of course, if you're talking about UX alignment and improvements, usually we mention the columns. And yeah, we didn't add columns in the projects area, but for service we couldn't control ourselves. And we added your reference here as well in the majority of the list. So now you can find the right document without opening the card. All right, what next we will do? We will do make order. We use this action to convert quote to order. This is a familiar confirmation, but now something new in the service. People who already used purchase area or sales, where you converted sales quote to the sales order, or same for purchase, you already know about this useful dialog which allows you to jump directly to the newly created order. We can do that in the service as well. This feature is added via co-development project. All right, this is service order, which is right here. Let's do one thing first. Let's archive it. Yes, do we want to archive it? Of course we do. All right, number of archived versions here. What do we do next? We will start changing it. Let's delete this line. Let's scroll down and find this your reference and change it to something absolutely different. 2. Right? What next? Probably what next we will go to archived versions, explore it, and we can see there is a restore action. And of course, we want to try it. And the document has been restored. Let's close everything, service quote, and find our service order. Of course, we cannot restore the document itself. It will be closed, so we need to reopen it again. So, yeah, document attachments. Does it look familiar? Yes. Now it again has 2 lines, and it has old reference which we mentioned before. So what else do we want to look here? Let's open the service item worksheet and press print button. Actually, nothing suspicious here or nothing new from the user perspective. You will not notice change because it behaves the same for new environments and for upgraded environments. But if in your business it's needed to print a different document now, you can navigate to the report selection service and you can find here a new line with an item worksheet where you can change report, maybe select different layout, or maybe you want to print several documents at one time. All right, so we now know how to do archiving, we know how to print service item worksheet. What about filing? Actually, for service contracts and the service contract quote, the archiving functionality already existed. It's called filing. Yeah? Let's open the service contract quote and open it. And you can find here the button which is called File Contract Quote. Okay, let's press it. Do you want to file it? Yes. All right, the next step, we will convert quote to an order. We don't want to create invoices. No, all good. So here, now we can find the service contract quote here, but we will not go there. Probably people who work with the filing capability, they know its limitations. It actually didn't support all fields which you expect or tables which you expected to support, but also filed contract had a tendency to be deleted together with the main document. But we stopped that. Let me show it to you. So now, if you go and search for filed service contracts, yeah, it's actually the shared one. It can be for quote and for contract as well. You can see the all filed versions. Even if the quote doesn't exist anymore, you can explore what was in the original one. And you can see some related tables here and comments there, right? How do we do that? We have some changes in the settings. Let's navigate to the service management setup and have a quick look at what has happened here. In the contract part, you can see the new toggle deleted filed contracts, which is off. So now filed versions of the contract or contract quote will not be deleted. If you want old behavior, you need to activate this toggle back. Also for archiving, we can see the familiar settings for quote, where you can actually decide if it will be always, question, or never. And for orders, it's like on or off setting. Very similar to what we can see in the purchase and sales areas already. Again, now we have contracts, files, and of course the list can be big. How to keep our database under control? The same story as usual, retention policies. You can now add a new retention policy and include a filed service contract or service header archive there, or actually both if necessary. And then it will be deleted as other retention policy entries will be processed. Now we know how to archive or file contracts and orders, how to change report to be printed when you want to print a service item worksheet, and also minor usability experience changes in the service management area. Thank you for watching.